look behind me, one of the most respected names in all of dirt bike racing, Pro Circuit, Mitch Payton's team. They've got a new challenge, and we got to find out more. Let's go. This isn't the Supercross track. This is a 6-mile wide open loop known as AMA National Grand Prix Championship Series and NGPC. Well, in case anybody didn't believe me, Pro Circuit Kawasaki out here in the NGPC. Billy, congratulations. Such a respected name. Mitch Payton's company. You got to tell me how this all came together.
Well, it all came together from a love of the sport. We all love going racing, and like I was telling a friend, I think everybody that's ever ridden a motorcycle dreamed of owning a team, and that Mitch made that a possibility for us, and with the help of Bones Bacon.
Take a look at the suspension on this beast, and very appropriate, it is my pleasure to introduce you to an absolute legend when it comes to tuning dirt bike suspension. Mr. Bones, so good to see you, man.
Yeah, you too, bud.
We're talking about this new team, this new endeavor. How did this take shape? How did we end up with Pro Circuit Kawasaki out here?
Well, to begin with, the grandkids are into NGPC racing. They have a blast. They do a great job with the series. We love coming to these races. I started noticing there's not a lot of Kawasaki presence here at the races. They sponsored the series. You can hear it over the PA, but there's no bikes. So started talking to some of the guys, Ryan Holiday at Kawasaki, Team Green, and Bruce, and Dan Fahey, and Derek Natvig, and all those guys. And they're like, yeah, we need to get some bikes out there. So I said, all right, I got the perfect guy to run the team. So I called Billy. Mitch and I have known Billy Fullmer forever, since the 90s when he used to race. He was actually Kawasaki Team Green's first ever contracted rider to race the 4-stroke when they came out with the 650 back in the day.
And a lot of people came together to help us. They really helped us out with all the sponsors, my wife included. It's really a family thing that we've loved doing this sport, and we get to continue doing it and give back to the sport a little bit, and hopefully help some amateurs that are here as intermediates become experts, and those experts become pros one day, and be like the guy like Giacomo here with a beautiful motorcycle like you see to get to race.
Well, this is so cool. And you got to tell me the story that you said this was such a last-minute decision. You had to actually, somebody, was it Mitch or Bones, you had to say, please think about this for a week before you tell me no.
That was Bones. He called me and said, think about this for a week before you give an answer, because it's a commitment. We can't just say yes and back out. So we talked about it. I talked to my wife and my sons, and we said, yeah, this will be fun. So they knew I wanted to do it, and then they were willing to help me.
They knew they had a talented rider in Giacomo Redondi, and that made the pitch to Billy Fullmer even easier for Bones.
So we've known him forever. I pitched it to him. I said, hey, think about it for a few days, then call me back. Like the next day he calls me, I want to do it. It's been a dream of mine forever. So I said, it's going to be a lot of work. So with everybody's help at Kawasaki, at Pro Circuit, got Mitch in the loop. Before I went to Mitch, I wanted to have a few answers, for him, because he's just that kind of guy where you go to him with an idea, and he goes, well, who's going to do this? What about this? What about that? So.
And then they were willing to help me. So we got that together, and then of course Bones worked every night. We have a joke about our phone calls. We have 20 phone calls, and he's down to 7. He only has 7 left, so he's got to make them count.
Went to Mitch, and he was a great help, and all the guys at Pro Circuit, because we put this whole thing together within 2.5 months realistically. So, but it's all come together. Everybody's helped, and we are here at the first round.
I love it. Now, this is quite a bit different than Supercross, as we know. I was lucky to be out there on the track yesterday just to try it out. Some 5th gear wide open sections. I mean, really test the motorcycle here. What is Mitch's mindset on this and his philosophy compared to all the other stuff that he does? Does he like this form of racing?
He does. Actually, it's funny you say that, because I think Bones and Mitch see it as a different kind of challenge, because to set up a bike for fast straightaways, deep sand whoops, rocks, motocross sections, it's like the opposite of what they do, where they specialize for a whoop section or a supercross section. And you got Bones says, like, this is the hardest type of suspension to set up for.
What I love is how versatile you guys are, because we know you're a huge name in Supercross. This application has to just be like night and day. We're talking about not many jumps out here, 5th gear wide open sections. How drastically different is bike setup, if it is, for a series like this?
Oh, it is drastically different. And drastically different. I've always said that setting a bike up for off-road racing in general has been one of the hardest things I've ever done. You know, Supercross, it is what it is. It's right in front of you. You put a stopwatch on it. Same thing with motocross. But off-road racing, you have to do, you know, the bike has to be set up for sometimes obstacles that are stiffer than Supercross, where, you know, here there's not much to do here because it's kind of hard packed. But you get into some situations like in life, it's going to be sandy hoops, or everything's going to have to be a little bit different. So it's always a challenge to set a bike up for off-road.
A challenge the Pro Circuit Kawasaki squad is up for this year. What would be different on this bike? What are some of the big changes to set this up for the NGPC series?
Well, this one is basically the same bike that you can buy. All the parts are available to anybody that wants to ride it. It's been revalved suspension on the front and rear. It has a different linkage system. This is the SR model, so it comes with a Pro Circuit pipe stock, but we have a mapping and airbox that we do for the standard KX450 to make it just like an SR. And of course the X-Trings up front.
Wow. Let's take a look at this. Do you enjoy this form of racing vis-a-vis, you know, what you see out there with the really tight stuff? That this track, I mean, a lot of opportunities to go wide open throttle, tapped out. So I got to imagine it challenges your expert brain.
Yeah, I do actually. It's a little more of a family atmosphere at these races. And to be honest with you, when I first started working for Pro Circuit back in 1984, one of my first jobs was to help a kid named John Brash, who coincidentally is here helping us this weekend. So it went full circle. But Mitch would always send me to the off-road races, you know, and then we started going to Baja and doing the Heron Hounds, and that's where Mitch's roots are from. So yeah, I always enjoy going to the desert now that I'm officially retired. I'm either fishing, hanging out with the grandkids, or at a desert race usually.
Very cool, very cool. I love it. I was talking to Mark Tilley about you, and he said he loves Bones, but he said, man, when you test with Bones, you're testing 9 to 5. And he said you are going to go through every possible setting. Are you going to put that same mindset, that same attention to detail into this bike here with Giacomo Redondi?
Well, luckily, Luke and the guys at the suspension department, Ralph and Eddie and those guys, they know how to set up a Kawasaki. And a part of it's, you know, the past that we've had and the work that I've done. But Luke's really good at all of this. So honestly, the suspension part of this bike was probably the easiest thing we did.
How long did it take you guys to build the bikes?
This one was pretty fast. Like I said, a lot of help, John Brash, and of course with a guy, Kyle Defoe, he's a motocross mechanic. They do it in like a day, but it's really getting all the parts together so they can do their job. They can do it really fast. You just got to have all the parts for them, and that's been one of the things I'm learning about. I get to do a lot of driving to place to make sure we have all the parts to put on the bike.
Redondi was pleased with it. He said it's one of the torquiest motorcycles he's ever been on. Right now, the Pro Circuit Kawasaki team is dialing it in based on Redondi's preferences and incredible riding ability. All right, last question for you here. We're so glad you're here, but we know there is a bit of a problem for other competitors in the 450 class for the last 5 years. We've got Dante Oliveira, who has absolutely dominated and ruled the roost. You guys think you have anything for Dante? Is that the goal, to try to dethrone Dante?
We just want to be competitive. We want to be on the podium. We want to be here at every round and build on it. But I love winning.
Everybody does. Thanks so much for being out here,
bud,
Bones.
thank you.
And thank you to Mitch, and thank you to Pro Circuit. Great stuff. Can Redondi and Pro Circuit Kawasaki break up the dominance of factory KTM's Dante Oliveira? That's the intriguing question we'll be treated to over the next several rounds. We know that you're not afraid of a challenge. We know that Mitch is not afraid of a challenge. But we do have this guy out here, Dante Oliveira, that has won 5 consecutive championships for KTM. Is that the goal right off the bat, to try to put some heat on Dante, to try to dethrone him with... We know Giacomo Redondi, your rider, very, very talented, and he's got the speed.
Yep.
Are you guys out here to win a championship?
I think we are. I mean, I am. I think if he everything right, I think he has the ability, and it does take luck. But like you said, you can't kid yourself with a guy like Dante Oliveira. He's the guy. He's what we're all measuring to. So we're hopeful that we'll be competitive against him, and I think we are. I think, you know, I like to say we own Saturday because Giacomo won the Vet Pro on Saturday morning and then the afternoon race. But today's the big race. We'll see that in 2 hours we're going to find out if everything we're doing is working right.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun to see. I'm so glad you guys are out here. Thanks for doing it.
Thank you very much, Jack.
They certainly did not come out here to lose, I can tell you that. Let me know your thoughts down below. Can Pro Circuit Kawasaki break up the dominance of factory KTM? We shall soon find out. But no matter what happens, what a tremendous benefit it is for the AMA NGPC series to have such a respected company and a respected manufacturer out here. Over the offseason, unfortunately, the series lost Irvine's Yamaha, and that sometimes happens, but as one goes, here comes another very talented squad. And I can tell you this right now, with legends like Bones and Billy and the very fast up-and-coming Giacomo Redondi, this team has an opportunity to do something special. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and we're happy they're out here trying to add to that already impressive Pro Circuit resume.
So how about it, guys? Pro Circuit is here. Let us know your thoughts down below. Will this be the year Pro Circuit dethrones KTM and wins the championship? I wouldn't count them out because they've done an awful lot in this sport, and Giacomo is awfully fast. Leave me your thoughts down below. Make sure you hit subscribe. If you like this video, here's another one for you. And you know if there's anything fast racing, Racing Jack has got your back.